The Kent School District Board meetings are held in public on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month at 7 p.m. at the Administration Center in accordance to the Washington State Open Public Meetings Act. Regular meetings include presentations and reports dealing with district operations, as well as time set aside for public comment. Now, here are your Kent School District Board of Directors. Welcome to tonight's board meeting.
All right, good. I think we've got everybody in here. I was wanting to make sure everybody was here. So I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order, and I've asked Ms. Luann Decker to please lead us in tonight's pledge. So if you'll please join us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So just a few things of protocol. So this is a meeting of the board which is held in public to comply with the Open Public Meetings Act, and we do allow opportunities for public comment. A little later in the program, underneath the strategic goals are blue cards that look like this. If you wish to address the board, please bring it up to either side of the dais, and we'll get to that public comment. If you're addressing an agenda item, please bring it up prior to that agenda item, and you will have 3 minutes to speak to the board at that time. So Dr. Apostle, are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
Yes, President Strauss, members of the board and audience, there is an amended personnel report to be considered by the board on the consent agenda.
Thank you. So at this point, I would like to entertain a motion to add the amended personnel report to the consent agenda. Thank you, Karen. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And I don't believe we need any discussion or questions on that motion. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. I forgot to mention, thanks, Agda. They've got you really small in the corner. Director Agda Bouchard is joining us remotely tonight via Skype, so we do welcome her here. She is here she's here, just not physically here. She's here in something. So tonight's an exciting night for us. We get to start off tonight with some recognition, and we would like to thank our music. Hopefully you got to enjoy some of our music in the hallway before. So, and she's just, oh, there you are. I'm like, where are you? So if we can please give Cynthia a round of applause for her. And we are starting off with recognition, and Dr. Apostle, I'm not sure who's leading us off tonight, so.
Well, we have Dr. Ansig. Will you please come forward? She's going to lead us in a celebration acknowledgement of our Nationally Board Certified staff.
Thank you. Let me get this down.
While you get set up, I do understand that there are some photo ops that will be happening immediately following the recognition, so please stay tuned for those.
Thank you. President Strauss, members of the board, Dr. Vargas, and Ms. Howley. Good evening. It is a privilege and an honor to be here this evening to recognize 40 members of the Kent School District staff for their dedication and superior effort in attaining National Board certification within their positions. 36 teachers and counselors have achieved certification as National Board Certified Teacher. 1 occupational therapist has achieved certification through the National Board for Certification in Occupational Therapy, and 1 speech-language pathologist has received certificate of clinical competence. We have 2 registered nurses who have achieved National Board for Certification of School Nurses. President Strauss, board members, and Dr. Apostle, please join me in congratulating this year's graduating class. So we will start tonight with our National Board Certified Teachers, and that includes some counselors. To begin, we would first like to recognize, though, and thank the facilitators who have supported these staff members in achieving this certification. So when I call your name, would you please stand? Michelle Kelly, she's been our district lead for the class of 2014, which we are recognizing this evening from November 2014. Ryan Shin, cohort lead, would you please stand? He'll be our new district lead next year. Charlene Vermillion, Tim Martin, and Kim McClung are also cohort leads for the district. Thank you so very much. The National Board Certified Teacher Program actually began with a landmark report in 1983. Some of you may remember this. It was called A Nation at Risk, and it detailed a, quote, rising tide of mediocrity in education that really threatened America's future. In response to this report, the Carnegie Forum on Education and the Economy convened a task force of policymakers, educators, teachers, and association business leaders. And they formed A Nation Prepared, Teachers for the 21st Century. It's a task force that called for strengthening standards in teaching and professionalizing the teaching workforce. So in 1987, the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards was born. The National Board standards were created for teachers by teachers and based on these 5 core propositions you see behind me. The National Board believes that higher standards for teachers means better learning for students. It is the gold standard in teacher certification, and it's offered in 25 different certificate areas. National Board certified teachers are nationally recognized as being among the best teachers in the profession. They comprise approximately 3% of the national teaching force. Candidates typically invest 200 to 400 hours in portfolio activities and rigorous activities. Kent School District partners with the Kent Education Association to provide support for teachers choosing to pursue this certification process. As far as national rankings go, Washington State ranks #1 in the nation in the number of National Board certified teachers that are new numbers this year. At the state level, Kent School District ranks 5th in the school districts in the total new certified numbers of teachers. That makes our total board-certified teachers at 168. You add in the 77 educational staff associates that we also include. We have 245 altogether in the Kent School District with National Board certification. That's a pretty awesome number. So with that, I'd now like to begin recognizing each person to come forward and receive their award. I will tell you that
Can we say something first? I need to say something first.
we have had acrylic ovals engraved with their names and the year on them and inside of their bag. These are they're personalized, so you can always have these with to remember this by. At this time, would the board please like to come forward?
I think I had a couple of board members that wanted to say something really quick before
Perfect.
it gets a little hectic. So, Russ, did you want to go?
Sure. I just really wanted to take a quick moment to really thank all of you. And what's most remarkable to me is that you guys are doubling down on your profession during a time when your profession is going under some really not fun changes, for lack of any other better words to choose. So what you're doing right now in the midst of what's happening to you is not lost on me. So the fact that you've decided to really invest even more during this time of change and turmoil and pressures, for me is greatly appreciated. So I just wanted to personally thank you because I recognize what you're doing when you're doing it. And I'm really glad to see 2 East Hill teachers here tonight. Just because one of my kids may go there next year. 3 East Hill teachers. I recognize 2. I don't know where the other one is.
Thank you. Any other board?
Yeah, this is just a personal note. I am recovering from a cold. I'm going to be up there, but I'm not going to shake hands with you, and I'm not going to say anything to you because I start coughing if I do. So I admire what you've done. Retired teacher, I watched some of my colleagues go through what you've been through. Some of them had to do it multiple times when they didn't pass certain parts of it. So I know it's difficult, and you guys are just phenomenal. So thank you so much.
And I think I'd also like to add, my congratulations, as well as I know many of you have family members, and here are people that had helped support you as well. And I know that not only does it take a lot from you, but it also takes a lot from the people that support you. And so I'd like to also thank those people as well for all their support and that they gave you during this process so that you could complete this milestone. So thank you to all of you. So,
So the way this is going to roll is I'm going to read the names, and we have, because the gifts are personalized, we have to give them the bags in the right order, or else this won't work like we were hoping. So once you receive your gift and a congratulations from the board, I'd ask you to cross across and over to where Heather is standing, and we will have a group picture at the end that will include all of the 40 recipients tonight. All right, you're first. Julie Badgley. Ellen Bonnard. Brenda Boderoff. Amanda Broxson. Scott Cleary. Emily Coleman. Brenda Corrigan. Tracy Crutchfield. Megan DeMosley. Christina Duffy. Gail Fedorchik. Christy Glover. Christy Gomez. Natalie Hill. Rebecca Keene. Jacqueline Kellogg. Lisa Kelly. Gina Lee. Holly Laurie. Corey McMillan. Daniel Mead. Sandy Mandrisa. Laura Bruce. Kristen Nielsen. Dana Peel. Susan Pinkerton. Michael Robinette. Ann Schmidt. Janice Caesar. Cindy Singer. Megan Terwilliger. Jay Thornton. Brian Upchurch. Selena Ward. Daniel Woods. and Carly Wyatt. Matt Patterson, now our Executive Director for Inclusive Services, will introduce our next recipients.
Okay, good evening. Receiving their national certification for the field of occupational therapy is Miss Robin Bender. She's not able to be here with us tonight, but a lot of hard work going in to get that certification. And next is a speech-language pathologist, Sarah Hirschkopf. Again, a lot of hard work to go in to get that national certification. Not with us tonight either, but if we can give them a round of applause, that'd be great. Thank you. Dr. Mary Newell will introduce the nurses.
I'm very pleased to be able to introduce to you the two nurses who received their national certification this year, Hannah Ridge and Carrie Wright.
Congratulations to all of our National Board recipients. We would now like to have you stand to, I don't know how you're going to do this. Thank you.
All right, so we are going to go ahead and continue with our meeting tonight. We do have some proclamations that we're going to have. And the first one I've asked Maya if she will read. This is on Administrative Professionals Week. Give it just a second, yeah. Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay, proclamation for Administrative Professionals Week. Whereas Administrative Professionals Week recognizes the many roles and responsibilities of the administrative professionals in our schools and district offices, and whereas the Kent School District Board of Directors acknowledges the critical role of administrative professionals to supporting the education of our students and ensuring that students are successfully prepared for their futures, and whereas administrative professionals work in the district's 41 school buildings, the transportation building, and the central administrative campus, and whereas our administrative professionals are often the first impression and the face of Kent School District to the thousands of parents, community members, and students that walk in the doors of our schools and offices or call on the telephone, and therefore serve as key frontline public relations ambassadors. And whereas the school board recognizes the expertise and dedication of the district's administrative professionals, their work to master technology and effectively utilize communication skills, their vital contributions and commitment to teamwork, and their willingness to learn and accept new challenges and opportunities. Whereas the school board wishes to commend each and every one of the Kent School District's administrative professionals for their service to students, staff, parents, and community members each and every day. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Kent School District proclaim April 19th through the 25th of 2015 Administrative Professionals Week in Kent School District and urges all citizens to join in this observance. Thank you. Is there anyone here to accept the proclamation?
Yes. Here. So if we can give them all a round of applause, please. Great. So I have the next one, and I actually feel bad because I misread on my script, so I wish I could go backwards, but I have the Teachers Appreciation Week, and we have a great representation of teachers out getting their picture taken at the moment. However, so whereas the role of the classroom teacher cannot be overemphasized, for they are the single most influential factor in a child's education experience, and whereas our teachers are their best when they hold students to high expectations, challenge them to think critically, push them to excel in the face of any obstacle, and guide their development to contributing citizens, and whereas under the expert direction of our teachers, classrooms throughout the Kent School District are places where kids have opportunity to display creativity and imagination and develop a passion for learning that will last a lifetime. And whereas excellent teaching is a labor of love, and our dedicated professionals often use their own resources and work long hours to enhance and enrich the daily learning experiences of their students with innovation and individualized lessons. And whereas educators shape the future of our community and nation as they work each day to prepare our students to compete globally. And whereas the value of our talented, committed, tireless, and inspirational teachers is without measure, now therefore be it resolved that the Kent School Board of Directors hereby proclaims May 4th through the 8th, 2015, Teachers Appreciation Week in the Kent School District, and urges all citizens to pay tribute to our public school teachers. So I'm not sure, do we have teachers that are still in the room?
Are they all?
Oh, yes, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. And I believe, Russ, you have our final proclamation this evening?
Sure. Thank you for sticking around for this. It's a big deal. You know, I very acutely aware, and I believe we did add nurses, right, this year? We did, yeah. We recognize the fact that the demographic and the acuity is changing leaps and bounds. Diabetes, asthma, eczema, allergies, autism. Then when I did my rotation, hygiene issues get referred to the school nurse from time to time. So thank you for all you do, and the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas all students have the right to have their health needs safely met while in a school setting, and whereas children today face more complex and life-threatening health problems requiring care in school, and whereas school nurses are professional nurses that advance the well-being, academic success, and lifelong achievements of all students by providing a critical safety net for our nation's most fragile children. And whereas school nurses act as a liaison to the school community, parents, and healthcare providers on behalf of the children's health. And whereas school nurses support the health and educational success of children and youth by developing and providing programs and leadership. And whereas school nurses understand the link between health and learning and are in the position to make a positive difference for children every day. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Kent School District Board of Directors hereby proclaims May 6, 2015, National School Nurses Day in the Kent School District and urges all citizens to join in this observance. I always like to say, I wanted to buy the t-shirt, but my wife's the CEO of the Medical Association. You know, love a nurse, they save your doctor from killing you. So we see the whole individual. So I have the proclamation. You guys can flip a coin for it.
So if we can give the nurses a round of applause as well. Right. Thank you. So I believe that concludes our recognition for this evening. And we're going to move on to 3.01, the school bus purchase plan. And Mr. Fortunato, I believe you're leading us in this discussion tonight.
As it comes up, here we go, come on. So, President Strauss, members of the board, Dr. Apostle, remember at the March 25th board meeting, we had brought a presentation to you concerning the middle school bus boundaries, and that we would need buses. But we also mentioned in that report that 40% of our bus fleet is more than 15 years old. Our last major bus purchase was back in 2008 when we bought 18 buses. And even if we change the walk distance for the schools, we still need buses. We need to add to our fleet. So we're planning on doing this by issuing non-voted debt. We're working with our bond counsel right now to draft a board resolution, which we'll bring to you at the next board meeting for your consideration. We're working with our financial advisor, Public Finance Management, on our different financing options, whether it be bank financing or through the Washington State Treasurer's Office with a local program. Right now, we're leaning towards bank financing because that gives us the most flexibility. And the debt would be repaid by the depreciation allowance that we get from the state for our buses. And what this would be called a limited general obligation bond, and it's limited to the fact that we actually have a funding source for it as opposed to just raising taxes. So the funding source is the depreciation allowance. Plan calls for buses for about 5 million buses, $5 million in buses. 5 million buses. $5 million, up to $5 million. We're looking at 20 CNG or compressed natural gas buses, and those are the large 84 student buses. And the balance would be approximately 10 diesel buses, be a mix of sizes between the 45 and 65 student size buses. We need to replace some special ed buses with the lifts on them. And what we call basic education buses are just buses for kids. You know, no lifts, nothing like that. It could be more than the 10, depending on the price break we get on the CNG buses. If they don't cost us $180, so it's they cost us like $170, we can save some money there and maybe get another bus or two of diesel. So we're looking at that mix right now. The Transportation Department is working up the mix. The fueling station. Well, there's two options. We can actually build it, own it, maintain it, and then we pay the cost for the fuel. Or Puget Sound Energy has a program now where they'll come in and they'll build the station, they'll install it, they'll maintain the station, they own the station, but we will then pay them a monthly fee, a rent, and we will then pay for the cost of the fuel. So right now we're looking at buying about approximately 30 buses, and then another 10 in 17, 18, another 10 more in 19, 20. And then in the years 16, 17, and in 18, 19, we'd probably buy smaller purchases of buses in the 3 to 5 range there. Our debt service for the 30 buses right now be around $600,000 a year. We'll receive from the state approximately anywhere between $850,000 to $900,000. So we'll be accumulating resources. We'll have in 15, 16, we'll roll our balance over into 16, 17, use that money we have there to buy, 3 to 5 buses. So by the year 2020, we'll actually replace about half of our fleet by then. And so we'll be on a regular recurring plan of replacing buses. But we haven't bought any buses since 2008 or 7 years ago. We should have bought buses in 2010, 2012, 2014, which we haven't done, which would have been about 30 buses. So we're buying all 30 buses right now. And with that, answer any questions or comments you may have.
Okay, let's start with Agda. Agda, do you have any questions? Agda, are you on mute? Okay. We will come back to Agda. So Russ.
I guess I could have done that when I was in Vegas, just disappear.
Just disappear.
Run away. So I would have sent this question ahead of time, but it actually occurred to me on the way home from work, and I saw a black bus that was super cool. So my first question is, and we can answer it later, but for food for thought right now is, one, do school buses have to be yellow? They do?
Yeah, it's U.S. Department of Transportation. In fact, that yellow is actually called yellow school bus. That's the color, yellow school bus. And it's in the department. I looked it up because one day I said, because you see fire trucks that are green and white and red. I thought, well, how about a school bus? That'd be kind of cool, And or school colors would be kind of cool too,
Does it have to be a percentage of yellow?
The roof can be white. And they use those primarily down in Texas and Arizona where it gets really hot. So anyway, so yeah, they have to be the yellow, and it has to be that particular yellow, and that is the Department of Transportation. And that's been a guideline since the 30s.
It's weird, when I Googled not yellow school buses images, there was advertising. It was hideous. It looked bad. But
They probably were not for, you cannot use it for student transportation, as like, to from transportation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It might have been for like, charters and stuff like
all
that,
right,
but
they have to be yellow. Never
yeah.
mind.
I thought it'd be kind of cool, school colors or whatever,
Well, my whole dream was UW, Wazoo, Green River, Renton Tech, sponsored by higher ed stuff, but okay.
It has to be the yellow. And you can have any color you want as long as it's yellow.
Why are you being so obtuse?
That's the word of the day, right?
Debbie, it's Agda. I couldn't unmute myself. I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Maya, any questions?
I'll ask later.
Okay, Karen?
Do we have any feeling right now which fueling station option is better in the long run?
Long run, the filling station is the Puget Sound Energy filling station. And the reason for that is there's a couple. One is they'll build it and they will maintain it. We still will have if we own the station and do it ourselves, we still have to pay for the gas we pump through it, so there's no change there. But it will get us a filling station that we need, and it'll be quick. But the important thing is it's their problem if something goes wrong.
So I had a number of questions for tonight's board meeting, and it came in late, and I was told it was too late to ask these questions. So I just want to say that the questions that I have, I am going to ask them, and when the answers are received, I'd like to see that in our board minutes. Because these questions that we ask, I just want everybody to know, it's not to attack anyone or question your understanding of what the matter. It's really to help us understand, the public understand, what is actually our school district is doing. And so I just want to be really clear. It's not to damage anyone's credibility or so there are questions that I've been asked to hold off or until staff can answer them. So I'd like to just be clear. I'm not going to ask them tonight, but I will make comments on the things that I have questions on. I will make comments tonight.
So I know we toured the facility the other day, and so with these new buses, and I don't see it on here, but I know we talked about it a little bit on the tour, a place where will we put the new buses? Because some of these will be over and above what we already have. So.
Well, majority of those buses will be replacements for buses we already have. So we take the old out, bring the new in. The newer buses that are above that, then we will find parking space either in the lot or the lot that serves as the parking area for KM, but there's some space in there we could use also.
Okay, so, and that's not part of the 5 million for the buses, so that would be something that, so I guess my ask, Dr. Apostle, would be when it comes next week, is it next board meeting when you're come to ask for it, if we could also see included in that what the plan is for where we would house the new buses and the additional costs for that as well, that would be very helpful. So, any other things that you needed from us tonight?
No, this is what the plan is. Like I said, next board meeting, we'll come back with the resolution to authorize purchase of the buses, and then we will start the process, because we need to get the buses on order, and they'll take, depends, could take 6 months to get them in. So it's, so we need to get the process going, and so the sooner we can get them on order, the sooner we can get them and get them going. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so next we have 4.01 on the safety services update. And I believe we have our safety service officer, or supervisor, Tim Kovich and Jared Kastner here with us tonight. And so are there any questions from the board on tonight's safety services report? We'll start with Karen.
Okay. I was pleased to see that we had, was it Karen Davey, go to Kentwood and talk to health classes about the legal issues pertaining to marijuana and vapes and e-cigarettes and that kind of thing. So do you have any idea how that was received?
I believe it was very well received. It is something that is we're seeing more and more of. So the education piece coming from that side with our new partners there in Covington, it's been well received from what I can tell. So it's needed.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I had another question too. I'm bothered by the fact that we have kids that are resisting the safety officers and the resource officers. They're fighting back and pushing back and striking at them. Is that put into their file, the report? Do we know if something's being done about that issue in itself? Do we have?
Our safety report about the details that you see parts of here is what we do we transition that over to administration to handle that discipline piece, and that tracking, I'd have to defer that over to what those details might be and how that process is.
Okay, yeah, I just think that it's really bothering me that they're combative.
I think,
in a number of those issues, because we only have safety officers at the secondary level, we also have camera footage. And so often our safety officers will sit down with administration to review any potential video footage of the event itself. I think one of the observations I've made from the report and those interactions is that we do have a few students that are frequent flyers, and that tends to be the students that we run into trouble with. So.
I don't know whether counseling needs to be done, restorative justice, or whatever needs to be done with and for those kids, because the fact that they're fighting the adult authority figures, physically fighting them and harming them, is not a good omen for their futures. So I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do something. And there's also, there was a situation of harassment at Meridian Middle, and there was sounded like a really out-of-control combative student, and I was wondering if we knew whether that was on March 20th, if that was the harasser or if that was the person who was being harassed that just was totally out of control. Do we have any idea about that one?
Just 1 second, I just want to.
Sure.
I know that in this situation with some of the people involved in this, after going through the debrief on this, that there had been some ongoing repeat again problems here. And I think in this scenario, this is not a one-sided situation. And I don't know if I just answered that or not.
Yeah, I think that's close enough.
Okay.
And then one other thing, there was one gang-related incident, and there was no consequence stated or next step noted. Were they referred to the administration?
Yes, that was just something that was missed in this. All are referred to administration. Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
thank you. Maya?
Save mine.
Okay. Russ?
Good.
Agda?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are moving on to 5.01. And at this time, we will recess the board meeting for a public hearing to receive comments on the sale of property adjacent to Jenkins Creek and the bus barn land. Any person wishing to submit written or spoken comments for or against the proposed sale of real property may do so at this time. Are there any comments? Play the Jeopardy song once or twice. So at the conclusion, or seeing no one coming to the mic or comments, I'm going to go ahead and announce that this hearing is now closed and the regular meeting will now resume. So we're moving on to 6.01. And so the first decision that we have tonight for discussion and approval is to sell properties. The first one is a motion to approve the sale of the vacant lot of approximately 100,005 plus or minus square feet located south of Jenkins Creek Elementary School, vicinity of 26915 186 Avenue Southeast, Covington.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussions or questions on this? Agda?
No, I'm just really appreciative of having had the tours and having talked about these before so that we understand, why they aren't of value to the district, and that makes more sense to sell them. So no questions.
Thank you. Any other discussion or questions?
Just one, and it's probably a repeat. Where, does this money have to go into a special pot?
You have a choice of putting in your bond payment fund or your capital projects fund, and our recommendation is that it go into the capital projects fund so we can use that money for projects this year.
Are buses capital projects?
No. Capital projects would be things you build.
Okay.
You could build a funky bus.
Partridge Family?
All right. So any other questions? All right. So I will go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Next, I'm asking for a motion to approve the sale of the vacant lot of approximately 0.45 plus or minus acres located in the vicinity of 25235 104th Avenue Southeast, Kent, Washington.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any questions or discussions?
Go ahead.
Agda?
No questions.
Okay. I just can't see you, so that's why I'm going to keep asking. So any other? All right. So we will go ahead and I will call for the motion. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Right. So we will now move on to 6.02. This is the approval of the sale of the Scarcella property. I am asking for a motion to approve the sale of the Scarcella property, tax parcel number 022-105-9193-06, located at 29000 Kent Black Diamond Road Southeast, Covington, Washington, 98042, to the Ukrainian Full Gospel Pentecostal Church in the amount of $330,000.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion or questions? Agda?
No questions.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Okay, then I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Next is 6.03. This is the second reading and adoption of policy 6114, gifts and memorials. I am asking for a motion to approve the second reading and final adoption of the revised policy 6114, gifts and memorials.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any questions or comments on this?
I'd like to comment on this. I would like to ask that we had, I think in previous meetings, talked about internal controls regarding the donors choose, and I'd like to see a language in that particular policy on gift, 6114, similar statement in 6114 as we're doing in 6103.
Okay. So you'd like to have that added to the policy going forward or to procedure?
Would that be procedure? In the procedure?
It was in the policy in 6103, so I'm just asking, can we add something to that effect in 6114?
In 6103, it's in the procedure. So we can look at the gifts.
Oh, is it in the procedure? Okay,
I think on the
sorry.
gifts side, it's because we're receiving the official gift, somebody's actually filling out the form. I think with 6103.
I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear.
Oh, thank you, Agda.
Okay, apparently.
Bon's going to say it again.
Yeah. It's currently in 6103 as the procedure, and the reason why it's in 6103 is because that's the requirement before we go out and get a grant or ask for the items, whereas with gifts, that process is somebody coming to us and actually giving it to us, and so the control is them handing it to us or filling out the form already.
But Tuan, the reason I asked is the donation is actually, you have to apply for the, like Donors Choose, for example, that's under there, you have to apply for that. So, sort of a misnomer, but
Yeah.
anyway, that's why I asked.
I'll take a look at the gifting
Yeah.
procedure.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, any other questions?
This
I
makes
wanna-
it,
I want to talk about the procedure, but we're in the middle of voting on policy right now, so.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that afterwards?
I will make a note to talk about procedure after.
so I think I like this because it makes it a little bit more efficient that anything less, I mean, it was ridiculous that we were approving retro gifts of popsicles and pens, and just the paperwork involved just seemed really dumb. So I'm very glad that 250 is a pretty decent threshold to hopefully minimize the tracking and accounting of all that stuff, so thank you for doing that part.
Right, so if there are no other questions or comments, then I'm going to go ahead and call for the vote on the motion that's on the table for approval of policy 6114. So all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. Okay, Karen, you wanted to add some questions on procedure?
Yeah, and it's about Donors Choose too, because I went to the Donors Choose website and followed the steps through, and it goes right to the teacher. It doesn't go through the building, it doesn't go through anyone, and you can have somebody from New Jersey contributing to, and 12 people from different states all over the place contributing to one person here in Kent. And so I just, it seems like there's sort of a hole there that needs to be filled somehow.
I think that's a very broad issue that we need to address in a singular policy that's by a policy by itself, dealing with that kind of electronic fundraising that we need to look at as a district.
Would that be put in here as part of
We'd
the
make it a separate policy,
separate one, totally?
because it's important enough that we deal with it as a separate entity.
In the short term, we're modifying 6103P to cover that gap, since we have a policy and procedure around competitive grants and those things. So in the short term, that was the compromise while we work on a more comprehensive standalone policy and procedure.
And in 1.0, it says, prior to receiving the gift or donation, the designated school district administrator must, if necessary, meet with the donor too. What does the if necessary mean? I mean, who's deciding what's necessary?
That individual is, depending on what the gift is.
Oh, size, amount?
Well, it's something we have to hang on a wall or we got to build something for.
Okay. Oh, and on 7.0, it said, let me scroll down here, hang on. Yes. It says it's responsibility of the school district administrator receiving the gift or donation, ... Annual review of the procedure is strongly recommended. And I guess this goes back to the electronic thing that should maybe be put in that procedure, is that I think all teachers need to be made aware at the beginning of the year, if you're going Donors Choose, this is the policy, this is the procedure that you need to follow.
Yep.
So just.
It's definitely something that after the modification on the procedure side, we have to provide some training at the leadership layer and then let it kind of roll out. So.
Yeah, and just beginning of each year, especially for new teachers, somebody who's never used Donors Choose before, it'd be a good idea.
So, and Dr. Puzzle, I think I heard and saw some head shaking here as well, that the board would be very interested in a policy directly related to those electronic donations to the district, so.
Yeah, they're not going to go away.
That said, the district is currently very, very well supported by the community through Donors Choose, and we've
Yes.
received tremendously great things for our schools, from 3D printers to other access items. And so it's not something that we as a system necessarily want to prevent.
No.
We just want to make sure we put in the necessary internal controls to know that it's the Kent School District making the request and accepting the donation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's
Definitely
clarify
do
that.
not want to get rid of those, because we do appreciate any and all
I donate to
donations.
those.
So, thank you for clarifying that. I didn't want to come across that way. All right. Okay, well, thank you. So we will now go on to 6.04. I am asking for a motion to approve a 3-year superintendent contract for Dr. Calvin Watts, effective July 1st, 2015 through June 30, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Well, before I go to other comments, I'm going to do it out of order for once. So I had the privilege of working on behalf of the board and with the board's guidance to work with Dr. Watts on finalizing and getting the contract finalized. And I can say he is absolutely extremely excited to be here to work with us. And so it was a very good process, and I'm very pleased with the contract that we ended up with. So any other comments or questions from board members?
Yeah, I do have some comments. No, better not be any questions at this point. Curtis. First, I really wanted to thank you, Deb and Maya, really going the extra mile. If there's any question whether or not this board did their due diligence in vetting Mr. Watts, Dr. Watts, there shouldn't be any, because there was a thorough site visit done, and lots of stones were overturned and people were talked to. So I really appreciate Maya and Deb going the extra mile. And thank you, Curtis. Negotiations, in my view, couldn't have gone any smoother, which is a good indication to both parties. He really wants to be here in the worst way, and we really want him here in the best way. Maybe that's a better way to say it. The best way possible. He wants to be here in the best way possible. So, and what's fascinating to me is I really did read all 330 comments that we got from the public in what they were looking for. And fortunately, it jived with teachers and administration and the board. What's unfortunate is really the expectation of basically a demigod to fill this position. So the expectations are extremely high. The demands are really high. But there's a wonderful thing when someone is coming new to the top position, and that's, he's got to prove himself. And I really do believe we get the very best from individuals when they kind of got to prove themselves. So to me, this is a really a fantastic opportunity for the district, for our many, many teams, to have him come. And I just have to say, you know, when I was walking into, thank goodness it was a very, very dreary Saturday afternoon from 9 in the morning to 7 at night, interviewing all the candidates that we did. It was actually a phenomenal process, because I learned an amazing amount of what good leadership looks like, and we had really good candidates. And some really just rose to the top out of that really good pool. So you think 10 hours would be kind of torturous in a conference room in a kind of an okay hotel in SeaTac, but I would have paid good money. I would have paid $1,500 for a leadership seminar that I got from these individuals. And Dr. Watts taught me an awful lot. And I'm actually kind of re-excited about the position that I'm in to be part of this. So
are you staying?
whatever, I don't know. Unless someone saves me from the torture I love.
Other comments?
I'll just echo Russ, and it was a very positive experience for me as well. And I will say, yes, agree with Russ that there's a lot of demands. I think that's going to be on a superintendent. And there's so many shifts and changes and policies and programs. I also feel like, the community is going to come together, and I would like to really see some type of I think I've talked a little bit about this by email, but some sort of a welcoming type event. I don't know how that's, I guess we'll need to talk about it separately, but just an introduction, get to know, because there are so many changes that are happening. And I also want to thank Debbie and also Curtis and the board for all the time that was spent on this matter. And I think we feel very strongly we made the right decision.
Great, thank you. Agda,
Yeah, I'll briefly comment that it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made and one of the best decisions I feel like I've made. And I'm just very excited to be working with Dr. Watts and have him working for us, leading our school district.
Thank you.
I'll just say something short, I hope. I just am impressed with it. He's asked for so much data about our district already and procedures, and I can't remember what else he's asked for, but he's already studying up on us, and that's going to put him a leg up when he gets here. So I'm impressed.
Perfect. All right. Yes, Russ.
Are you going to talk about?
Yes, but not yet. First, we're going to call for the motion.
No.
Which one?
About him coming before his actual start date?
Not during this motion.
Okay.
So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and call for the motion. All those who are in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Okay. Any opposed? Great, thank you, motion passes. So one of the things that the board is working with Dr. Apostle right now as far as coordinating dates of when he will come, I can tell you for sure right now that he will be on site during the NSBA technology visit at our district and the Tech Expo. So he will be on site, so you'll see him around the district during that time. And then we're working on finalizing for him to come and work with Dr. Apostle, who we greatly thank for helping us during this year to do a transition to get him so he's off and running. So once I get all the last bit of that dates finalized, we'll let you know when that is. But for sure, look for him next week during NSBA. He will be at that event as well as at the Tech Expo. So we look forward to having him here with us for that. All right, so we are next moving on to 6.05. And Agda, I don't know if you want to lead the discussion?
Sure. I'm just pulling up my notes here, so now I can't be looking at you, so that's hard. I'll have to imagine your faces just like you're imagining mine. I want to thank Kathy for listing the proposals that we had submitted to WASDA last year for you there, which you can see. I just thought to get our discussion going, I'd make a couple of comments. A number of the proposals had to do with supports for English language learners and the transitional bilingual program. And there currently is one bill this session that has to do with dual language instruction specifically. And that passed the House, but not the Senate. So it technically died, but it is in the House budget, so could be supported. Item that wasn't on our list, but I know that we passed a resolution related to it this year after Maya had recommended that, and that had to do with computer science education and expanding access to that. That did pass the House, not the Senate, so in that sense it died, but it is in both the Senate and the House budget, so that's likely to be funded. However, if it isn't funded in the final state budget, that might be an area where we would want to put forward a proposal to WASDA to expand computer science education. Another one of our bills, or one of our proposals we had last year was related to dual credit programs, so the high school students can get college credit at the same time. And there was a bill, a couple bills related to that this session, and the bill passed in both the Senate and the House, and if it ends up being funded in the final budget, there will be some funding for some students to actually pay for the college credit while they're in high school, taking those classes in high school. Another feature of the bill that we've been really supportive of and wanting is that 10th graders can participate in college in the high school and actually get the college credits, which they're not able to. So if that bill passes, I wouldn't see it, or if that, well, it looks like that's going to be signed into law. And if so, I would say that we wouldn't need to put forward that proposal. So my sort of recommendations, and of course I want to hear what you all think, would be that we have one proposal that's a little more broadly written that includes a lot of the things that we've been wanting to have to support English language learners. And Tukwila School Board is also interested in presenting that with us as they did last year. And then that we consider having the expanding computer science bill if that doesn't end up being funded. So I'll turn it back to you, Debbie, for others' comments.
Okay, so just to clarify, Agda, what you're proposing is that we combine the ELL ones to one proposal to submit this year as well, and then submit one on computer science.
Yes, if that ends up not happening this session.
Okay, thank you. So feelings or thoughts from board members?
This is for next year?
Well, so what this is each year WASDA does their legislative meeting where they vote on what they're going to support in Olympia. And those are due, if you have any proposals from districts, those are actually due, I want to say
May 15th.
Yeah, May 15th, thank you. And so in the past, these are the ones that were listed in the agenda are ones that we had submitted last year. And I know the ELL ones for sure are ones that we've tried multiple years. I know I've gone and advocated for them before as well. And they're ones that oftentimes are misunderstood by other districts. I remember the first year I went, I had a couple of districts that came up to me afterwards, large districts that I thought for sure, like Yakima, that would have supported it, that said that they understood it to be that every teacher had to be bilingual and not that they really needed the tools to do that. So I agree with Agda that it might help if we can combine those down to one to be able to really have it, one, be a little more broad, and two, be able to really get some, we've already got some good feedback from other districts that they would be willing to support that as well. So any other, so okay, let me ask it differently. So is the board okay with what Agda has proposed for this year to submit to WASDA? It's nice to submit stuff. We don't have to, we do not have to propose anything to WASDA. I think as a district our size and as legislative actively as we are, that it was a good idea for us to bring things forward. And so would you support what Agda has proposed? Okay, I'm seeing heads shake yes. And since what we would do then is we would bring those to the May 13th meeting to actually approve to send them to WASDA, so we'll have a chance to read them. And I believe, Dr. Apostle, that Agda will require some assistance from you in trying to pare those down for that. Okay. All right, so Agda, what I'm hearing is everyone is in favor of that. So.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we will now move on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that the board would like to pull from tonight's consent agenda?
Debbie?
Yes.
I haven't seen the amended personnel report, so I would need to know what's on it before I could take action on it. or I could abstain from that and then would need to have that pulled.
Looking for guidance from someone. Are we okay if we say the names out loud?
It's public information.
Yes.
Dr. Beeman, would you like to take that?
Yeah, so we can go ahead and read the names. It's public information.
All right.
And that way, the director will have all the information.
Dr. Beeman?
The supplement.
Oops, oh, green. There it is.
The supplemental agenda that is before you, the following administrative recommendations are being made. And forgive me if I mispronounce any names. Judy Beliveau, from assistant principal at Matson Middle School to assistant principal at Mill Creek Middle School, effective July 1, 2015. Brian Patrick, from interim principal to principal at East Hill Elementary School, effective April 23rd, 2015. Sherilyn Yulin, from principal at Mill Creek Middle School to principal at Northwood Middle School, effective July 1, 2015. Tammy Unruh, from principal at Madsen Middle School to principal at Middle Creek Middle School, effective July 1, 2015. And a change in position, Justin Dennison, from assistant director to interim director, transportation services, effective April 23rd, 2015.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything that anyone would like to have pulled from tonight's consent agenda?
Hold on, let me think for a second.
Yeah, I need to think. I'd like to make a comment on 7.08.
You want to pull to make a comment, or?
I guess we have to pull, right?
We have to pull to make a comment? Okay, so I'll pull 7.08, Maya. Russ?
Hold on, I'm still thinking. I'm doing the cost benefit. No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right, so I will go ahead and call for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, less 7.08.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And for clarification, you were in favor, not opposed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Maya, 7.08.
Okay. I know at our auditors meeting, there was a comment about that we would provide better explanations on the vouchers that are put through. So I'd like to request for our travel expenses that we add some specific information as to what exactly the travel is for. So I want to just maybe come back on this, have an internal discussion about expenses over a certain amount, like $500, where, we ask for specific explanations for travel.
Thank you. Right. So you okay if we go ahead and call for the vote? All right. So all those in favor of 7.08, or wait, sorry, to have a motion to approve 7.08.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
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 Okay, I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? All right. Thank you. So next, we have some things that are for our information. The first is revised policy and procedure 6.6103P, application for competitive grants and foundation funding. This is for information only. Did anyone have any questions on this? Okay. Hearing none, I will move on. Next is general fund object expenditure report. Again, information only. Any questions?
I have questions on 8.02 and 3, but I will write it, I've written it down, and I look forward to the answers, and hopefully it'll be published in our minutes.
All right, thank you. Okay, so anything on 8.03 other than noted? All right. All right, well, thank you very much. We will now move on to communication from the audience. I do have a comment tonight, I have a card tonight from Jerry Martin. Mr. Martin, if you'd like to join us on this podium over here, please, and you will have 3 minutes to address the board.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you for hearing me tonight. We'd like to petition for a transfer of territory for our property. We're actually isolated from the school district boundaries. We're right up next to the boundary district. What we're looking to do, right now we're going through getting all the signatures from everyone in our neighborhood, and there's about 60 homes plus 1 church property that we're looking to have transferred in. Right now, in order to get our kids to school, we actually drive through the Tahoma School District boundary. The bus won't come down to our neighborhood because we've already asked them. They've told us that they won't do it. So what we're looking to do is just have our area, our neighborhood moved from Kent to the Tahoma boundary. The one issue I have with this, the reason I'm coming to the board first and making sure that you guys know that this is going to happen, there was an agreement done last year before our development was built. And in that agreement, it says anything that borders a particular property of the 28 homes that were moved last year would be immediately denied. So what I'm looking for is an explanation why it would be automatically denied because we are adjoining the property that was moved previously. So that makes sense?
I think we understand your request. So, and I think, so the board normally will listen, but they don't normally respond to this, but we will get a response back. Dr. Apostle will make sure that your question is answered for you.
Okay.
And I think we have all your information on the card.
Yeah, I'll make sure and get it all in there. So, alrighty.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming tonight. All right. So that is the only card I have this evening. So Dr. Apostle, Superintendent's report, please.
Yes, we have, the board has the schedule for the National School Board Association Technology site visit for next week. And we have lots of people interested from around the nation who will be attending and seeing all the great things that are happening here in the Kent School District. We know that there are events taking place at the Microsoft campus with a dinner, and several board members have indicated they would plan to attend. The board also has a list requesting a sign-up for the very exciting graduations that will be taking place. Our seniors are excited, and our board members are excited as well because it's just a fantastic full day that will be happening at the Shoreware Center, and so we ask that our board members complete it, and hopefully by next Wednesday you could turn that into us. And there's a Puget Sound ESD and WASDA convening taking place at the Renton Technical College, dealing with diversity issues, racial relations, and more. And I'm glad to see so many board members and staff members that will be in attendance. So those are the several things that are taking place that we will have excellent attendance from the school district.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to board reports. Agda, I'll start with you.
Oh, sure. Last week I attended the WASDA regional meeting, which was out in the Tahoma School District at their middle school. And I very much enjoyed the opportunity again to get updates on things that are happening and to network with other school board directors and superintendents. I was asked to briefly share about the NSBA technology site visit and our tech expo, so I did that. A couple things that WASDA is going to be doing that I wanted to let you know about. One is they're starting to develop more professional development opportunities, including online and some sort of certifications with that online professional development for school board directors, since we know that high-functioning boards are correlated with increased student achievement. Also, some of the WASDA leadership had attended an equity conference in Arizona and learned a lot and have been starting to share some of those learnings. And there's conversation about having an equity focus at the WASDA, the next WASDA conference. I also was going to mention that I learned that the State Board of Education is going to be having their July meeting in Seattle at the Museum of Flight, and I haven't gone before, so I'm hoping that it'll be at a time where I'll be able to go and make some public comment and listen in on their proceedings. And then finally, I wanted to mention that the P3 executive, which stands for preschool through third grade, executive leadership certificate program that I'm participating in with a team from the district at the UW, that we're about to have our second course, which will be at the end of this month, and that will be focusing on equity. So after that, I'll be sharing more with you about that. And that's it for my report.
Great, thank you, Agda. Russ?
Yeah. So it's been a while since I've been here, and I haven't done tons of stuff, but I was invited by a student, I think she was a senior, from the Kent Ridge Robotics program, and she invited me for a tour of a competition, and what I imagined and what I saw was not even close. It really looked like a movie set, and cheerleaders and teams dressed up, and it really was very eye-opening and really nice to see what's happening in our district. So that was pretty fun. There was one other thing that I've forgotten. Maya and I actually met to discuss some budget stuff, and I'd still encourage us to meet before individually among each other to discuss what we see as priorities for the budget. I've got something else, but I can't recall it. So go ahead, and I might just come back to me if it comes back.
Okay. All right, Maya.
I just want to expand first on what Russ said, was it the Auburn High School robotics?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's just something that came, I had no idea the extent to which our kids are really delved into this robotics and STEM in general. I just wanted to bring up the fact that I've been trying to get some high schoolers to come into our elementary schools and support them in the robotics. And I was really pleasantly surprised to hear that Kent Ridge has already been doing that. Who knew? They're already in our elementary schools supporting our kids. And I just wondered, can we look into whatever it is that our kids are doing and try and replicate some of this? I don't want to reinvent the wheel and get somebody in there to help us with, say, Kent Meridian Strand, for example. They already have a good robotics club at KM. So how can we get our kids in that strand also interested in it? So I would really support that. I told the kids that I vowed to come back to the board and bring that up because they're so proud of what they're doing. And if you look at their portfolio, it's really, really impressive. I've never seen anything like that. So I just want to express that. And then several things that I did. It's been about 3 weeks, I think, since we met. So I toured the health clinics in the Seattle schools to kind of look at what a school-based health clinic would look like here. So thank you for that opportunity to Dr. Newell and staff. Also had a discussion on district refugee services here with Dr. Apostle, Rona, and Will to kind of look at what exactly the model is now versus what we had with the Refugee Transition Center. And I'm so pleased in the direction that we're going with the liaisons and more of a school-based concentration and focus. One of the things I want to say about that is there's a real great opportunity to work with our city of Kent because they're also doing programming for our refugee services. And so that could be really powerful, and it was a great discussion we had with Rona and Will. Then several community programs. I attended the Roadmap Results Community Conversation, which is meeting again tomorrow, and we're going to talk about that report like we did last year with the community. We're just sort of planning that with Brad is also part of that. But since we did the SBEC pilot, there was a question about what exactly we're going to look at, and a lot of the folks in the room really wanted to focus on absenteeism, and so looking at the early warning indicators to really understand why our kids are so absent from our schools. Could be a number of things, so kind of exploring that. Wanted to thank wanted to recognize Christine Tang, our middle school Meridian Middle School student who's written a book on bullying called The Little Flower. She was honored by DAWN, which is Domestic Abuse Women's Network, as the Hero of the Year award. And I don't know if districts ever recognize anyone, but she would be a great person to do that. Then the King County Council member met with Dave Upthegrove to talk about a commitment King County has to fund efforts to really expand the number of activities that'll help our students stay out of the juvenile justice system. Then also met with Mona Han from Coalition of Refugees from Burma, and heard about all the great programs she's doing at KM and how can we support her to do individualized, targeted educational programming for our families who are being resettled here. And then finally, just took part in some district operations things like the transportation tour, and thank you to Mr. Dennison and the other gentleman, I can't remember his name, on the tour, for giving us the tour. And also the audit, our KSD audit.
Thank you. Karen?
Okay, I'm on my fifth cough drop in 2 hours, so this is going to be really short. I also went on the, well, let's go back further, to the robotics exhibition, I guess, or contest at Auburn High School, and I was given a tour by some very knowledgeable students from Kent Ridge, and they were just more than happy to tell me everything that they knew about robotics, and it was okay. I was impressed, and a lot of life skills that they're picking up just working with that. I also went on the health center tour at Cleveland High School and South High School, and learned some really important things about developing a healthcare center. Restorative justice, I participated in a group. By the time it was all told, we had about 35 people there, and we went through what a restorative justice session would be like. And there were a lot of staff members there who seemed like they really want to be involved in that. And I just think it's really a great idea. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to move that forward and carry that through. I went on the transportation department tour, and that was great, even though it was at 6:30 in the morning and cold. Maybe that's why I've got this.
Okay, no, it's my fault.
And then participated in the audit exit conference. And I can't remember if there's anything else, but I'm going to stop.
All right, thank you.
I remembered.
Did you remember?
So can I? No, well, I did catch most of the audit. So I've been in close contact with a lot of city council folks about the school impact fees and what are their plans with the $170,000 that we rescinded. It's still sitting there, nothing's been done. But gosh darn it, just when you think you're taking one step forward, two steps back, they just approved tax exempt for 8 years, the whole project. So they said no school taxes for that apartment complex downtown. So that's about $500,000 for us over the course of 8 years. It's about $50,000, $60,000 that the city said you don't have to pay. We're going to waive all income taxes. So, yeah, it's property. What did I say? Income tax? Oh, sorry. I get confused when I'm frustrated. So just FYI, still things are being done locally that we end up having to absorb the cost of. So not just we as the district, but the taxpayers as well. So Tarragon is not a good corporate community citizen, while the platform could have applied for the same break and just said, that's not our gig. We understand to have a good community, we pay our taxes, so people will move here. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Dr. Studger, I saw you.
One of the two things with what Mr. Hanscom just said, the city did make that decision, but they didn't waive the value of the land that that building sits on. The second thing is we passed a levy, not a dollar amount. So what now will happen is they will take that dollar amount that we won't get from Tarragon's apartments and spread it out against all the other taxpayers in the district.
Right.
So the dollar amount will still be what we anticipate, but it will be spread out a little bit more on our taxpayers.
Right.
You won't lose any money, but individually, your taxes will, fractionally,
Couple
whatever that amount
cents.
is.
Okay.
It's the principle.
All right,
Okay, that's
thank you
important
for-
clarification. I
Yes,
appreciate that.
thank you for that. All right, so for my board report, just really quickly, I also went to the bus barn, which was really great to be able to go, and I'll take credit for the fact that it was 6:30 in the morning. I said, I'd like to tour, and I think 6:30 would be great, and I'm an early riser, and a few of my other board members said, okay, and I was a little bit surprised that they'd all get up at 6:30 in the morning to come, but it was really great to see that operation. You know, we hear so much over the years about how the bus barn runs and the whole transportation, and it was nice to see it in action and to see our bus drivers, who truly are the first people that a lot of our students come in contact with, and their energy and enthusiasm for their job was very inspiring. And also went to the exit interview for the audit, and as well as, I would say, most of my other time has been spent working on helping with our new superintendent transition. So been very grateful for that. So just a few reminders for the board. I'm still working on scheduling our NSBA follow-up. I appreciate everybody sending in their written statements, but I still want to have a conversation on that. Also, just a reminder that we have a request for days that might work for you in May to have a longer session solely on budget. So if you haven't already sent those days in, there was a request that I think Ms. Holly sent out earlier this week saying, you know, do you have a day that would work for, to come in for that, just a workshop on that? So please check your emails for those, and if you haven't already responded for dates that were.
So there's no suggested dates?
There were no it was looking for,
from you.
yeah, it was looking for what might work well, so.
Are we sticking with Wednesdays? Try to stick with Wednesdays?
I
or
think
not
we're gonna have to go
necessarily?
outside of a Wednesday, so days outside of Wednesday that might work. And I don't know, Dr. Apostle, are we open to a day outside of a work weekday, or do we try to get to work weekdays?
Maybe we can have some proposed dates, some multiples, where we can
Yeah,
take
that-
a look at some possibilities. We're open to that.
Yeah, if we could maybe throw some out there, so it'd be easier to
do
try and
that.
get that, so thank you. And then I put a note down here, oh, also please, the sooner we can get this filled out, so it was up here, the different ones of what days you can. I'll just be, after Kent Lake's graduation on Saturday, since my daughter is graduating, I'm not going to be available for the rest of the day. I promised her I would spend time with her, so.
It's kind of nice if we can sort of adjust so that we've got
Yeah.
enough people at all of them and not
Yeah.
everybody doesn't come in on one.
So the last two on Saturday, I will be unable to attend. It's Kent Ridge and Kent Meridian, even though I'd love to be there.
I'll be there.
Graduating senior has to take some precedence.
Absolutely.
So I think those were the only ones. Oh, also one other thing, we've been receiving some requests for meetings from different groups that would like to have a couple board members come. So if you can look at those also and let me know if you're available for those dates as well. It should be
What
in
was
your
you
email.
saying?
So some groups that would like to meet with us, so we'd need like no more than 2 board members on certain dates. So if you can check your email and reply back to me on that, that would be fantastic.
That's
You
two
emailed
others
us?
than us,
Well-
right? We were there before, so they
Right,
want
well,
somebody else?
you could
or-
go again, or it could be somebody else.
Okay.
So,
All right.
You emailed that? Or was it from somebody else?
I believe it came from
No,
somebody else,
Cindy.
but I can
Cindy-
resend it.
Cindy
No,
did.
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just reply to me, that would be great on
I
that.
replied to her.
Oh, okay. Well, I need to know what date you said so that I can mark it down so we don't have a quorum.
Oh.
So if you can let me know, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. All right, so I believe that is it, other than I know that our IT staff has been extremely, extremely, extremely busy, as well as multiple other people getting ready for Tech Expo. I am personally very excited for Tech Expo and looking forward to it's got to be an amazing amount of work that's going into, besides having Tech Expo, also having NSBA here, and also having the commitments that we have with Microsoft. So just wanted to let you know, thank you ahead of the event. I just thank you, so. Oh, yes, Agda?
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, and I don't know what part of the country you're in, but thank you. Hopefully it's not too late. Get some good rest. And we are adjourned. Thank you for coming tonight.
Good night.